JBNN, we keep you informed. I am Michelle Jones, and in the news, soldier killed in early morning home invasion. A member of the Jamaica Defense Force, 26-year-old Kemar Dennis, was reportedly shot and killed at his house in Zambia, Central Village, Spanish Town, St. Catherine, Tuesday morning. He was a member of the National Reserve, the police's corporate communications unit is reporting. According to sources, unknown assailants gained access to Dennis's house about 3 a.m. and opened fire, hitting him multiple times. He was transported to hospital where he was pronounced dead. Investigations are ongoing. Double murder in Macook's Pen. The bodies of two men were found by police in Macook's Pen, Spanish Town, St. Catherine on Tuesday. Police say preliminary investigations have identified the men as Ricardo Gooden from a Point Hill address and Travis Headley from Spanish Town. It is reported that the men were found about 6:15 a.m. after police received information that two bodies were seen lying along a dirt track in the area. Upon their arrival, the bodies of the two deceased men were seen with what appeared to be gunshot wounds to their heads and upper bodies. One man was clad in a grey sweater, white t-shirt, blue jeans shorts, and a pair of white and black slippers. The other man was clad in a grey t-shirt, black and yellow underpants, pink and black shorts, and a pair of black shoes. The police say numerous spent casings were found on the scene. Just 2 Sundays ago, 4 men were killed by a gunman on Railway Lane in Spanish Town. Detective Inspector Balvi Thomas, crime officer for the St. Catherine North Division, said investigations are ongoing into the circumstances which led to the incident. Inspector Thomas also gave an update on a drive-by shooting on Jones Avenue in Spanish Town on Saturday in which 3 men were shot. 1 man has since died. Inspector Thomas said the police are far ahead in that investigation and are identifying possible suspects. It was reported that about 9 o'clock, the men were standing on the road when a car drove up. The occupants opened fire at the 3 men before escaping. Major operations target suspects in $50 million fraud case. Law enforcement authorities have apprehended 2 men they believe are part of a syndicate that stole close to $50 million from a financial institution through a sophisticated cybercrime scheme. The arrests were made during a series of coordinated operations by the Financial Investigations Division, FID, and the police's Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch, CTOC, mainly South St. Andrew on Tuesday. 3 other men are still being sought in the ongoing operations, police and FID officials confirmed. They are believed to have gained unauthorized access to a local financial institution and subsequently stole large sums of money, a FID spokesperson said in a statement. Last month, 3 men were arrested and charged with money laundering for their alleged involvement in the scheme. Judge fumes as alleged victim's body is missing. Chief Justice Brian Sykes and the senior prosecutor on Monday locked horns over whether evidence offered by the Crown was sufficient to pin the alleged murder of a man in 2018 to accuse leader of the One Done Gang, Andre Blackman Bryan. The alleged murder, which is count 20 of the 25-count indictment, charging the 28 remaining alleged members of the gang for various crimes, was said to have taken place at Phil's Hardware in Spanish Town. The Crown was responding to the no-case submissions made by defense attorneys at the end of May. According to the evidence elicited from witness number 1, a former gangster turned state witness, on the day in question, Brian had supposedly been upset that not enough people were being killed in St. Catherine compared to other parishes. According to the witness, the unsuspecting victim was then spotted walking in the area where the hardware is located. Brian, who was reportedly irritated by the man's presence, was asked by one of the accused, who is presently on trial, what should be done about the man. "Nyam him food," Brian was alleged to have responded, a colloquial expression meaning to kill someone. The court was told that a gang member went into a yard and from there shot the man dead. The body remained on the scene for some length of time before it was removed by a van from a funeral home. We're asking the court to infer that the man was shot several times, whose body did not move on his own volition and was subsequently removed by persons, was a dead body, and we're contending that at this stage there is sufficient evidence for Mr. Bryan to be called upon as it relates to count 20, the standard being on a balance of probability, the senior prosecutor asserted. The Crown said Bryan, who was additionally charged with being leader of the gang, also gave orders for the sale and purchase of firearms and ammunition for the gang and gave instructions that could not be refused. The trial judge, in questioning whether there was any other evidence outside of what was said by the witness, was told no to his chagrin. The Crown was only able to offer that the police had been on the scene by virtue of the witness's account, as no police officer came to testify to that effect. What the Crown has put up is all it has, the prosecutor said. However, the Chief Justice responded, "Some people would find that quite a remarkable state of affairs, in that, here we are in the 21st century. It has been alleged that the person shot and killed is supposedly lying on the ground. The police arrive and there is no evidence, no photographs, nobody from the scene of crime, no investigating officer, nothing to say that a body was found with gunshot wounds. This is not over the bush. This is in the vicinity of Spanish Town." According to the trial judge, since there had been no police witness to offer further evidence, prosecutors could have drawn on the funeral home that removed the body or even a relative. However, the prosecutor argued that the police who went to the scene have since left the constabulary. But the Chief Justice, in discounting that explanation, noted that the more than century-old organization was highly regulated and would have records. You're asking the court to accept that this person actually died, and the police are supposed to have gone into the scene. So why should we accept that? Even at this stage, in the absence of any supporting record of any kind, nothing, not even a photograph, no report, nothing, just a naked assertion from a witness that yes, a person was killed, yes, the police came, and the structure of the force is such that there is no record. The trial judge questioned with an incredulous tone. "I can't accept that in this day and age a judge of the Supreme Court is to accept that the Jamaica Constabulary Force, after 100 years of existence, has no record of going to the scene of a death. What you're telling me now is a bit hard to accept in this day and age. We're not talking about whether or not there was a murder, just the fact that there was a death. No post-mortem, nothing. There must be some record, even from the funeral home. That is the difficulty I'm having," the judge stated. And the Crown would have gone on to outline his case against Brian under count one of the indictment, which charges him alone for leadership of the organization, but for an objection from his lawyer Lloyd McFarlane, who indicated that he did not make a no-case submission for Brian in respect of that count. Asked by the prosecutor whether this meant the judge did not want to hear the Crown's evidence on the count, Justice Sykes said, "Well, if Mr. McFarlane is accepting that a case is made out of count one, then there is no point in belaboring that point." The Crown, in the meantime, also responded to the no-case submissions for the defendants, Tomrick Taylor, also known as Fancy Ross, Daniel Mackenzie, Kevon Green, Brian's brother, Khalifa Williams, otherwise called Baba, Michael Whiteley, otherwise called Stennett, and Pete Miller, otherwise called Smokey. So far, 4 defendants of the original 33 accused, who had been standing trial since last September, were freed by the judge last month, following an admission by the Crown that the evidence against them was insufficient. A 5th defendant also walked following a no-case submission by his attorney. Under pressure, Davis recants gangster talks proposal. Just over a week after suggesting that police and gangsters meet to stem spiraling crime in St. James, Homer Davis, apparently bruised by public and political backlash, has walked back the comments. "It is my firm belief that if someone is wanted for a crime, they must be taken to custody, taken to court so that they can have their day in court. The government that I support, the government that I'm a part of, we will never negotiate with criminals." Davis, the Minister of State without portfolio in the office of the Prime Minister, declared at the Jamaica Labour Party Divisional Conference in Cambridge, St. James, Sunday night. Davis, who is also a Member of Parliament for St. James Southern, had made the proposal at a function in Montego Bay 2 Saturdays ago against the background of police statistics showing that, between January 1 and June 6 this year, a total of 104 people have been murdered in St. James, 26 more than the corresponding period in 2021. "I'm really agonizing over how we intercede with the gangs that are really creating havoc in our space. I have a thought process. I think if we can get the combatants, the leaders of these groups, gangs together, and put them in a space and say, listen, tell me now where you're fighting for. Tell me, what do you want? What do you need? What can we do to appease you?" Davis had told guests at the function held to welcome Superintendent Carlos Russell to the St. James Police Division to act for Senior Superintendent Vernon Ellis, who is on leave. The suggestion had earned Davis support from his parliamentary colleague, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck, and People's National Party Councillor Michael Troop, who represents the Granville Division in the St. James Municipal Corporation. However, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang shot down the suggestion, stating firmly that he doesn't negotiate with killers. Davis also came under fire from the police. On Sunday, as he walked back the suggestion, Davis said, "My comments were aimed at rescuing the vulnerable youths, those that are easy targets of gangs, to rescue them from the abyss of destruction. My intention is to play a role in the disruption of the production line, where criminals can easily recruit our youths. We are challenged as the problem continues to move around the communities and into the classrooms. We need to give our youths clear knowledge of their lawful options and possibilities." At the same time, he made an impassioned plea for Jamaicans to help prevent unattached youths across the nation from falling prey to gangs. "My position is, there are hundreds of unattached youths, both males and females, across most communities, some of whom are known and think that the system is not for them. Some may become easy targets to be recruited by gangs and also to get involved in illegal activities," Davis said. "It is important for us to understand that these unattached youths need help. They are not readily coming forward asking for help because some of them just do not trust the system. We know that the challenge is real. So, therefore, it is incumbent on all of us as stakeholders, the churches, NGOs, civic organizations, among others, to reach out to these youths," said Davis. "There are several government programs to which they can be directed. The HARD program, Hard Trust NSTA, the Apprenticeship program, and recently AMBER program, which is a joint effort between the AMBER Group and Hard Trust NSTA, are some of them," Davis said. "There needs to be concerted efforts to reach and encourage these youngsters in a productive way. The politicians and the police can't do it alone," he said. He argued that trained social workers with the requisite skills are needed to visit communities and engage these unattached youths in an interactive manner with a view of getting them involved in meaningful programs that can positively advance their status in life. "My appeal to each of us is to reach out to these young unattached people in their respective communities and get them in a productive discussion," Davis said. The government, he added, is doing its part to engage and train young people, but there are some who do not trust the state and continue to stay away. Jamaica reports 84 new COVID cases, 7 deaths. Jamaica reported 84 new cases of COVID-19 and 7 fatalities on Monday, according to the latest statistics from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. This pushed the total number of cases of the virus since the start of the pandemic to 140,754 and the death toll to 3,091. Of the newly reported cases, there were 54 females and 30 males, with ages ranging from 49 days to 94 years. The cases were recorded in St. James, 34, Westmoreland, 14, Portland, 8, Kingston and St. Andrew, 6, Hanover, 6, St. Mary, 1, and Trelawney, 1. Meanwhile, the latest deaths include a 22-year-old man from St. Anne, a 65-year-old man also from St. Anne, and a 95-year-old woman from Westmoreland. These deaths were previously recorded under investigation in May 2022. Also among the latest deaths are a 70-year-old man from St. Anne, a 63-year-old man from St. Anne, an 84-year-old woman from Hanover, and a 49-year-old man from Westmoreland, whose deaths were recorded in June 2022. 2 of them had been under investigation. The country also recorded 168 new recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 88,032. The positivity rate for the latest round of testing was 23.1%. There are 143 people hospitalized, 4 of them critically ill. There are 2,644 confirmed active cases on the island. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.